the escalator again.
Leave it alone.
What?
Comics.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
TV and movies. Wrestling. Music.
We are just getting started!
Finally, a podcast about things you actually care about, hosted by a couple of guys who actually care about those things too.
What? Did we just become best friends?
Yep. Maybe a little too much.
Yes, that's awesome.
The talented one, Chris Machete.
That no-talent ass clown became famous.
And Brenton, you know, that guy from your other favorite podcast.
I liked it. I was good at it.
So grab onto the handrail and don't let go.
There's a little boy caught the escalator!
This is the Kids on the Escalator podcast.
Woo!
Here's CM and BD.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
Hey everyone, we're extremely sad to have missed D23, but we've been working very hard on the next Deadpool film for a good long while now.
I've had to really search my soul on this one.
His first appearance in the MCU obviously needs to feel special. We need to stay true to the character, find new depth, new motivation, new meaning.
Every Deadpool needs to stand out and stand apart. It's been an incredible challenge that has forced me to reach down deep inside.
And I have nothing. Yeah, it's just completely empty up here and terrifying. But we did have one idea. Hey, Hugh, you want to play Wolverine one more time?
Yeah, sure, Ryan.
I have to cut it off before the song hits or we're going to get kicked off of the old YouTube there.
That's okay. How cool was that? Wow. And you know what, dude? Hey, everybody. You know what? The fact that these two dudes are in control of this movie should make who likes any kind of funny superhero movie just roll, because these guys are going to do this so well. And before anybody says anything, there was another trailer that was put out. The latest Wolverine movie, Logan, that was fantastic, where he dies and kind of passes the torch to Alpha Flight. That is, and they say that is dated in 2029. So what they're doing is it's not interfering with that at all. Logan, it'll probably work its way to Marvel's smart, right? Or we could get another timeline. But how great, Brent, of a show is this going to be? A movie? And Ryan Reynolds, just an amazing guy. Deadpool 1, flawless. Deadpool 2, flawless. Deadpool 3 with him and Hugh Jackman doing it. Brent, what do you think, man?
It's going to be amazing. I mean, the fact that he's been given carte blanche on this series. Here's the thing. We touched on this a little bit last week. I love the fact that the people who get it are being kind of like given carte blanche to run with it for the most part. You have worries about Taka or Tiki, whatever his name is. You got some worries about him with Star Wars, but you know, Jon Favreau with Mandalorian and that team, with Ryan fired everybody on the last Deadpool to just take it back and be more like his movie. Yeah. So I'm stoked. I mean, I think it's going to be great. I mean, I love the Deadpool series. I didn't like that little kid in the second one. That was like the annoying little shit.
Well, or something, right? Yeah, it was. Yeah. He wasn't the greatest, but he was the future of. But what was I going to say there? I don't remember.
Deadpool.
Yeah, something with Ryan Reynolds with the thing. Anyway, it's going to be really good. I'm really looking forward to it. It's funny because it kind of shows that, you know, there was so much panic, I think, to find the perfect replacement for Hugh Jackman. Whereas, you know, and it's so funny. Hey, Hugh, you know, who's his buddy?
Amazing. You know what I find interesting about that is because he was like this terrible. Is there another character where he was this terrible Deadpool in one of the X-Men movies? Then they they make fun of it as breaking the fourth wall. They make fun of it all the time. Basically reinvent him. And now it's one of the biggest franchises ever.
Well, that's because they didn't do Deadpool the way Deadpool. It was. I don't even want to get into that. That's a point. But and that was before we pull as well, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. So now Hickman, two of the most sharing a moment here, right? Yeah. The most prominent figures in this type of world, and they've just grabbed two of the biggest figures and mutants. And this is the launch of it as well. Oh, sorry. So my point was, If you watch in the newer trailer where they say, so what's going to happen? And they play the 96, 93 animation. Da 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 da. Yeah, and they just start slashing. Yeah, here's right here, and you can't hear what they're saying and do whatever. But they do say it. There is a shout out to Kevin Feige for letting us do what we wanted to do with this movie. That was my point, buddy. That Kevin Feige again. Now, who else would really get this? Hey man, and I could hear the conversation. Hey buddy, so if you give me carte blanche, you do whatever you do. If you can get Hugh Jackman to stop all these rumors and naysayers, then you can do whatever you want with Deadpool. Yeah. I could just hear the conversation. And then Ryan Reynolds hanging up the phone and making a funny his vodka. Did you notice in that video that was his vodka he was pouring?
Yeah, it's great.
I just think I've always been a fan of his. Even when he started out, it was two guys in a pizza or something like that. A pizza shop.
2 girls, 2 guys,
Jim Carrey, dude.
Yeah.
He was.
And waiting,
like Jim Carrey, it was so funny.
And waiting, he's got that the facial expressions like waiting. That movie, Waiting, about the waiters.
Early career, so many future stars in that one.
Van Wilder, wasn't he Van Wilder too?
Oh, Mint movie again. Yeah, he's great, dude. I've met him, and Hugh Jackman too. I've always liked his Wolverine take. So this is going to be fantastic. It's going to be done by those 2 dudes. I don't know where they're going to take it, but it's going to be amazing. Another one coming up. Talking about Brent, and we can't get the trailer for it for some reason. Maybe because
I couldn't find it on. I couldn't find it on the Twitter.
Bank. This one's breaking the internet, man. Lewis, because I got some news. The Fantastic Four movie has a trailer. The John, I always pronounce his name wrong. Krasinski.
John Krasinski.
Krasinski. And Emily Blunt, his wife, will be playing the main 2, Mr. and Mrs. Fantastic. Efron as Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, and we've got Vin. The Thing. Why has nobody spoke of this yet? This is awesome.
Well, everyone hates Vin Diesel. I hate Vin Diesel, but anyways, he's right there with Jared Leto with me, Vin Diesel. But anyways, I'll give it to you.
Oh, well, yeah. Sidebar.
But you're right. How did it not leak out? How did it not leak out?
No. Sidebar. Mobius is available, so we'll have to both watch that and have a Jared Leto roast. Because I'm trying to struggle to find anything good he's done. That's my sidebar. Bringing it back in. This is going to be great. So, but I'm just wondering how they kept the lid on Vin Diesel. He's not my favorite dude either. I would have rather seen. Who would I've rather seen play? I never think that's funny. But I never really thought about that.
But Michael Chiklis was a great thing originally.
He was good. But the original thing. He's just, I don't know. Now he's kind of, and I just kind of see that in it when he plays him now. Yeah. I think as a wrestler that would have been really good to play him.
King Kong Bundy.
He's too fat. No, he's got to be a big muscular guy, right? Same guy that played Drax. If he's done playing Drax, because they're going to kill Drax. I thought Batista, but then that's kind of, give somebody else a chance.
Yeah, I don't think you do that. I think you got to
give somebody else a chance. I would have thought maybe a wrestler could have done it. You shave the hair off Jericho.
Stand by.
And throw him in there.
We've got a challenge here. Now, last week we got into it about Thor, and we had some people say that it wasn't as bad. And, we have a special guest right now joining us right from the network. Mr. Blundell, how are you, sir?
Dean!
You handsome sons of bitch.
No, don't you know you're supposed to turn your phone in the sideways? We can barely hear you. It's a whole thing.
Is it?
There he is.
I don't know. I'm not picky. I'm just like, hey, how's it going?
That's right. Anyways, buddy, what's happening?
Can you hear me? Am I coming in? Got me?
You're coming in a little bit. We got you a little bit. We got you enough to throw your rebuttal up to Chris Machete's and ours.
First of all, hey, Dean.
Hey, buddy.
This store here, Mohawk Cannabis Store.
Yeah, the best.
So I go in. Yeah, I go in there like every 2 weeks. I'm going in there tomorrow, and I'm always chatty with the guys, right? And Jen's coming, guys. Jen's coming. So I'm always chatty with the guys, and they're always like, "Yeah, Chris, whatever. That's great. Conspiracy theory. Yeah, comic books. That's great." So So what do you do, buddy? I do a podcast here and there. I'm on the Dean Blundell network. All of a sudden, everybody stops working and looks around at me. They don't pay any attention to me, and then I drop this one. Oh, wow, Dean Blundell network. Well, what's your show? And all the staff is punching in kids on the escalator. Well, tell Dean we love the guy, man. Tell him to come on. And, we'll give him a good deal and some weed, like. So there you go. There you go, buddy. But it's so funny because you know me, I'm really chatty, right? And these guys are just like, yeah, no, another stoner in here getting his choice weed for drawing his comic, doing his conspiracy theories, and yeah.
Yeah. No, that's I love free dope. So that's why I called. The only better dope than great dope is free. I'm just joining on my phone here.
How about now?
No, we can't hear you.
No, we can't hear you, Dean.
But they love the Blundell show.
Yes, they do.
So this is the second shout out that I've given them.
That's right. And
so they should be giving me like a lot of weed next time. I'm going there tomorrow.
Right. Diener, come back out and come back in. I'm going to put you out, come back in with that link. Now listen, we have some people that want Jenn Fiorentino.
I know.
Hi, Jen.
We were
Michelangelo Barnez. That's a great name, by the way. Michelangelo. We like that name. And Jonathan Augustin, how do you say Guadardo? Yeah. Anyways, and he burns weed a little bit.
We
so
all burn,
just stand by for a minute. We have a bit of a rebuttal to last week, and we just have we got Dean on here. How about now, buddy?
Right. Can we hear you? No. You're gonna have to sign language it.
Can't hear you.
You have to write it out on a piece of paper.
We heard you before.
Yeah,
we can't hear you now. This is great TV, by the way, for everybody listening and watching at home.
It's the build up for Jen.
Of all the tech we have, he's trying with the mic and assigning the thing with the phone. He says,
I tried watching the Thor movie again for a second time, and I just couldn't. I couldn't get through it.
Oh, you tried again.
I did. I tried again. Yeah, I just couldn't get through it. The next one will be Morbius, right? Like trying to get watching Morbius because apparently it's really bad. I don't know.
We're just gonna put Dean on freeze frame. Let's do the whole show like this, which is Dean on there, just his face. He can't say anything. We can't hear him. We can hear him before.
Did you do it with kiss makeup on? That'd be like super cool.
You might, yeah. You should have been in kiss makeup. You're gonna need to go to the thing, maybe the actual office, Dean, for a second. Sit down and do the thing again to join us. I don't know what the hell's going on with your phone. But,
and Julie Nolan misses the Dean Blundell show.
I do miss the Dean Blundell show. There we go. Look at that. Julie, well, you can catch it every single day. You can catch it every single day. Yeah.
How's that?
What now?
How's that? You got me now?
There we go. That's ish. What's going on in Markham?
I don't know.
Diener.
Oh, look at that.
This is great programming. There we go. How about now, Dean? Oh, my God. This is the funniest damn thing. Where's Lindley? Where's Rook? What's going on here? Hey, Jen, we got a big giant, we got a whole bunch of people waiting to see you.
Yeah, we do. So
How are you?
Bring Jen in now then, Brett?
Well, I'm just letting you know that we're thinking of you, Jen. We've got you, but we're waiting for this rebuttal from Diener, and we don't know what the hell's going on with his tech. You figured out the tech pretty quick. Dean's
Is he from Markham, by the way? You mentioned Markham.
I'm not going to say he's from. I'm just going to say
he's in Markham. I'm from Markham.
His feed might be in the area.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But Diener, I don't know where you are. Look at all these people. Really?
So, Jen, have you seen Love and?
No, I've never even heard of it.
Okay. See, I watched the movie and I gave it the old stinkeroo, right?
Right.
And there's some rebuttals saying that it was good.
People coming hard at us. Julie Nolan says, Jen.
There you go. Yeah, you got some fans here. People are chanting for you.
Yeah, it's good.
For you. That's for sure.
It's good stuff.
My screen is Jen.
Well, I'm getting some of the it's weird with the chat overlay. I don't have everybody. I'm only getting the Facebook feed. I'm not getting Twitter on here. There's a few things. So there's probably some people saying Jen.
Michelangelo Augustin, Julie Nolan, Mike Smith.
Julie, to your point, Julie, you can check out Dean's show every single day on the YouTube and all the rest of it. He does a great show every day at like 3:00 ish on the East there and around the world. So he's got, he likes to rattle up the old.
Why don't you introduce Jen and we'll rock and roll with that then, my.
You introduce Jen because you're like, we got to get Jen on. So here you go, Chris.
Okay, cool. Okay. My friend, I'd like to say, Jen does she was you're still a fantastic musician. You've had a little bit of a hurdle. Your YouTube videos, fantastic. I remember listening to them when I very first moved here. Some dude named James Shaw was like, dude, you guys are really good. So I checked. So
I don't know that guy.
Checked out your tunes. And they were. No, I love your attack on everything. And then I met you, and I was just you speak guitar. That's how Brent and I put it. And it's hard to have conversations. You can probably relate to this. You meet a lot of people. It's hard conversations with them, but I found that I can have conversations with you very easily. I feel musicians go. You speak guitar, which means that we can talk about all things music and not kind of look at each other like we're crazy.
Cool.
Well, put it this way, Jet. We could say something like, "Who's the best like guitar player of all time?" And if you said, say, "I really like that guitar player from the Tragically Hip," I'd be like, "Sure,
I'm in
good
Kingston.
guy."
You can't do that though. I thought you were going to say like U2 or something.
Or you, but I'm just saying, something like that.
I would say neither of those.
Thank you. So as somebody who's qualified as a guitar person, who would you say is the best, rock guitar player of all time?
Rock or just guitar?
Just in general. Yeah.
It's funny. I don't know. Misha from Periphery would probably be one of my favorites, or Jake from Strung Out.
Oh, some punk rock in there.
I talked about Strung Out the other day. Nice, right on.
You taught some.
I did.
Nice.
Yes.
So
yeah,
that's not easy guitar to.
No,
I have a little dude. I got this little dude, and I'm taught him. Oh, we're doing like all this Descendants stuff now.
Nice.
Into the punk solos.
Yeah.
So it's
starting with Strung Out.
What's that?
I said starting with Strung Out.
Yeah, well, no, we've been building to this. Oh my gosh, he started with some Sum 41, and his dad's a musician from Oshawa, an old punk dude. So actually, it's like he was going up for Green Day when we started. Now it's like reeled into like, some more punk stuff.
Cool.
Give me one second. We got somebody back in here for a minute. Diener, did this work for you this time?
Hi, everybody. Is that better?
There we go. Hey, buddy.
I was going good. Jen's just killing the wine. Great to meet you, Jen.
Nice to meet you as well.
No reason why you shouldn't be in vibing in the grape juice from the gods. We got Chris with a pint, Brent with a coffee. I just came in to talk about Thor, and I totally, what I did is I hobbied it. I didn't pro it. I'm proing it now with like headset.
Good.
I was just doing hobby casting before, and I wanted to apologize to you guys. Then I wanted to get into Thor. And who's got the issue with Thor here? Hopefully it's not
I didn't
Jen.
like Thor. My question is more, what did you like about Thor?
What did I like about Thor?
Yeah, I didn't like it. No, what did you like about it?
You know what? It was such a huge departure from all the Marvel shit, right? Like, I kind of liked it that way. I liked how campy it was, cheesy it was. It's definitely, if you watch the first Thor and then you watch the last Thor, if you didn't see the Thors in between, it was a real departure from the first Thor because it was all serious. Which I'm shocked if that's why you didn't like it, Chris, because it was like, it was supposed to be serious. Like the first one was kind of serious, and then the last one was just pure fun. Like, I mean, it wasn't, it had nothing to do with the storyline. It was a lot of fun to watch. I liked how cheeky it was. I thought it was a lot of fun, but totally, I can see where people like purists like you would fucking hate it.
The thing is that the one that I thought that what Tiki did before it, the villain, the Grand's by the fabulous
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah. Okay. No, that villain called for the whole humor of it, whereas I thought this Gore the God Butcher, who is like the birth child of Venom and Carnage and all these people, was treated more like a joke. When this is the villain that brings in Venom. This is the character that brings in Carnage, Scream, and he was treated kind of like a jokey kind of character, which I didn't dig. The whole love affair between the two Hammers, that didn't do anything for me. Natalie Portman's I thought we already said goodbye to her and her character. There's so many more great people that could use a leaping pad instead of a burial, without being Natalie Portman's done her thing, man. Like, why is she in the movie? Has she not done enough? Let's give somebody else a try in here. So those are that's the things I didn't like.
Well, Listen, you're not gonna please everybody, and you're a tough crowd, dude. You're a purist. You write, you fucking you color these, you draw these guys.
But I'm curious.
Color,
So
like, as
you
you
like the
color
hammer
these guys.
dealing? No, but Dean. So I'm curious though. So you like the hammer
Yeah.
dealing, where the hammers were jealous of each other, and
Okay, this is
well, see, there you're
inanimate
hesitating
objects.
right there. Now you're thinking about it, right? It's like, wait a minute, that wasn't really so cool after all. Right?
No, it's not that I didn't like it. See, like I'm not a purist. I like casually stumbled into the Marvel universe. Because of you guys, I got into like, WandaVision and all the other shit that we've been watching over the past year. Like I'm all caught up on Andor. Love Andor. A lot of people getting all pissy about Andor. I'm like, no, it's really fucking good. I really enjoyed it. What about you, Jen? Are you a big superhero person? Did you watch Thor? Are you a bit like you look like you're a talented individual. You got guitars and shit behind you. You look like you know what you're doing.
I have nothing to contribute to this conversation.
Jen is an old friend, but Jen is long hauling from COVID, and it's affected her career. And me, as a fellow long hauler, we were going to have a little bit of a chat about it.
We
were going to bitch about.
You'd probably be interested in hearing her story. Yeah, why don't you tell Dean your story? Because this is really interesting. Actually.
Yeah.
Like my COVID story, or
so the way that you were like barreling
actually
along
start in the womb if you could. Start in the womb. Your
I don't
origin
remember that
story.
far back.
But you were like, you got tons of YouTube views. Like I think basically you kept doing YouTube videos, right?
Yeah, well that's kind of the plan. Oh, it's just me on here now. That's kind of the plan. Like I started performing my songs for people like when I was like 17 maybe, and then I started posting on YouTube in my early 20s, and it kind of just blew up. I guess people really liked hearing a lot of punk rock songs just stripped down acoustic. And I've heard a lot of people say that they like hearing them that way because they actually don't like them in their punk versions, but the songs themselves are really good. So I think that's part of the reason it caught on. And
how many people on YouTube do you have, Jen? You got a lot.
Subscribers, I have maybe like 62,000.
Nice.
There you go.
I've got
That's
like
nice.
Millions of views, which is pretty cool.
And you literally do.
Yeah.
Because people say that, right? Oh, I got millions of views on my TikTok.
Yeah.
No, you don't. No, you really
Yeah,
don't.
I'm not
But you do.
lying.
You do.
Yeah. So I toured. I've released some albums and I toured and stuff. And I haven't played a show in a few years. I kind of started to slow down a few years ago, and then the pandemic hit, and then I got really sick I got like pneumonia, and then just as I was finishing up the antibiotics for pneumonia, I got COVID, and I'm still kind of dealing with some respiratory stuff. Yeah.
When you say respiratory stuff, what is that? What does it look like? What do you got?
It's really dry cough. I find when I've been singing quite a bit, but I find when I sing for too long, my airways just like dry up. Yeah. So
did you get COVID pre-vaccine, or have you been vaccinated?
I had both vaccines. I think
When'd
what
you get
made it
COVID?
really, I got it. So I got both vaccines last summer, and then I got COVID in January. But I think what made it so bad was that I had pneumonia first, which was just like a really shitty like turn of events.
Right. So. Weekend COVID came in after, huh?
Yeah.
It's an interesting one, Jen, because I've been touring a lot, and Dean's well aware of this, and Chris, like I've been on 2 inhalers for 2 years, for the whole time. And come January, this past January, I was feeling pretty good and went back on tour and everything was fine. And then I just did a run. And when I entered into the East from basically New Jersey into Toronto and then down into Florida and Houston and all the rest of it, I had to go and get another inhaler in Houston by a Republican doctor, by the way. Fuckos. And anyway, so then I just for anyone that anyone who wants to argue with me while we're here, not you four, not you three, but the other people that are like, anyway. So what happened but I noticed it from the East. And everything with the humidity down the the East Coast of when I'm in some kind of humid environment, it's really a real problem for me. And I just thought I wanted to point that out because when I started coming back west again, and I got into the dry heat or something like that, it kind of cleared up again. So I don't know what
Yeah,
the
I feel
docs are
that.
saying, but it's anything with the humidity. If I'm in it for longer than 4 days, it takes me down.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I don't know exactly what it is. I don't know if it's like the air quality or something or just the pressure, but yeah, it does worsen it. And then heat also makes it worse.
Hey, we're now these people that are like reading, looking out the window.
Yeah, I go
About
out
9
now.
degrees, too
I
hot
have
out.
like my fanny pack with like my puffer in it now. I feel like such a loser.
Oh, you got your puffer too, right? You got
Yeah.
yeah. You feel like you're a third grade kid
Now,
that got born into an asbestos family.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question to the panel here. This is funny. Okay, Jen, I'm not getting too personal. Do you smoke the weed, and have you been kind of healthy, and or have you done how have you kind of progressed through the world? Because I don't smoke the weed. I'm a little bit more of a gummy eater or something like that. And as Chris can attest to, play hockey was as healthy as I've ever can be, and I'm long hauling.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the thing that I would point out is that Brent and I worked up here. It's like lifestyles, right? I was the guy that smoked cigarettes growing up. That was that you'd fight behind a car somewhere, and Brent was the guy looking for me sober to drive me home, right? And then I got COVID, and I had to take the test 3 times because I was like, I can't. You know what I mean? And Brent got it, and he's now still has to use a puffer. And we used to joke though, like back in the day, like, man, I'm going to be so sick, Brent. I hope you will still take care of me in my 30s. And and I'm just my lungs. I don't know if the weed strengthened me
Dean,
up or
you
what.
got it.
Different COVID. You know what I mean? That's Jen. What we were discussing before. How it's not just one thing that hits. Seems to take this differently, or a lot of people do anyway.
Yeah.
Dean, what about you? Because you got it.
Twice. Yeah, I'm lucky. And currently battling a head cold. And I sit there, and it's funny because we live in this time now where, and Jen, you might know this, right? If you get COVID more than once, anytime you get sick after that, you're like, oh fuck, here we go.
Yeah.
Is
this it?
Yeah, is this one? And if you get it all the time, the compounding interest of COVID makes your long haul symptoms much worse, right? So I know someone that's had it 4 times. Read a report today of someone who had it 4 times, suffered a stroke at the age of 28. So there's real concern out there. We're not out of the woods yet. We're not having as but my situation was not unlike everybody else's, other than the fact I really didn't have any long haul effects. Like, I've been living vicariously through Brent, and it's fascinating because I see people shitting on each other about Twitter all day long, like talking about how your long haul effects are a lie. You're not telling the truth. Like we had one of the organizers of the convoy on. You remember this, Brent? Tom Marazzo, a couple of weeks ago, about a month ago. And I said, what do you say to all the people with long haul symptoms, Jen? And you know what he said? He goes, I say, I don't believe you.
Wow.
I was dying. I was watching this thing, and I was like texting Dean going, put me on. Because I was just dying to get on the show. Because I'm just like, fucker, I'm gonna show you this. But to that point, there's like, Dean, you guys didn't long haul. I want one point, and then I want to go back to Jen for a sec. I got the first COVID. I've been around 1 million people since. Dean, you said you've gotten it 4 times. I actually haven't been sick since then. Just so you know, I've been around 1 million people and in about 50 countries. Talking to my doctor, there was sort of this idea that original COVID dose that I got was pretty, might have set me up to fight a little bit. Jen, where are you at now with it? Because I'm still battling a little bit, but I haven't been sick since, and I haven't gotten it again.
I think I've gotten 2 colds since.
And what were they like?
Not that bad. I don't know. It's weird. I find like now when I get sick, and it's just been colds, I find I get like it's hard to explain, but it's like I get like stressed out, and I get all like I get like cold sweats and stuff, like feverish, more so than I used to with just like a regular cold.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
A little anxiety involved maybe now when you get sick, huh?
Yeah. Well,
Isn't that
like
weird?
I think it's worsened any anxiety that I had before.
Yeah, sounds
And
like
brain fog and stuff like that.
What's the brain fog like? I've heard about the brain fog, but I haven't heard someone talk about it. Like just hard to put sentences together, hard to figure shit out, or what is it?
Yeah, it's like just like kind of mental confusion. So I find that's worsened a little bit. Some days I'm feeling like really good, but then I think like if I push my body a little too hard, then it kind of just like shuts down.
Mm.
And I got like that fatigue and yeah, the brain fog and the cough comes back.
Mm.
So I don't know. Brent, you got it like a couple years ago, right?
I was like,
He got one of the first few cases in like what, in Italy?
Canada. Yeah, he's like patient.
Yeah, that worries me.
Yeah.
I'm only like 8 months in, so.
Yeah, it was an interesting. Well, that's what I said. There's that point, and Dean, when I got it, and I told, like, at that point when I told everybody, and Dean can attest to this, everyone was like, "See ya." Like, I guess you're gonna go. Dean's like, "It was fun having you on the network, bud, but I guess you're gone there, buddy. It's all done. You're gonna die now. So just write about it up until you die." So I was like, "Okay." And
and he was a trooper too. He was on. He kept coming on the podcast like 4 days in 1 week. I'm like, "Hey, let's get your COVID ass on a podcast." He's like, "Okay."
It was like nothing I'd ever experienced before. But to your point, Jen, like when I did get it, and I know that we're kind of beating a dead horse here when it comes to like what everyone's already spoken about. But when I got it, it literally was the unknown. It was like, what the hell do I have, and what does this mean? Like, what does it mean? And there was all this.
And why is everybody
shame.
saying I'm going to die?
Yeah,
Why is the
there was all
media
this
telling me?
COVID shame
Oh
and
my
everything,
God.
and you
Well,
know,
a lot of
Dean
people were dying from it, right? So.
I know, right? That's why. It's like holy shit.
It was such a weird thing, and then as it's gone through now the COVID shame is different. Now it's just like whatever. So it's a very interesting.
It's just a cold, right?
It's just a cold now, but now, but that, to your point, I think Dean, you said this too. Like, it's like you get sick now, and everyone's like, "Shit, like,
whose fault was that?
Who
do I blame for
Where
this?"
was I?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's that was never the case before. It was just like, you know,
Well, it's how it's changed us, right? Like it's how it's changed us all. And I would love to hear everybody else's thoughts. Like last week, my kid came home and he's like, "Yeah, I got the sniffles." So we do a bunch of tests, and so he's negative. I'm like, "Great, okay, you're fine." And you revert back to COVID brain, where you're like, "Are you wearing a mask at school? Are you doing this?" Of course, he's not wearing a mask at school. Nobody's wearing a fucking mask at school, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, okay, well, yeah. And then he comes home. Then I get sick later in the week, and I'm like, oh fuck, here we go. And I got mad at him. I'm like, why are you walking around without a mask? And then I had to literally stop myself because I don't have long COVID. So it's very different. And I had to say, oh, like remember when we just got sick?
Yeah.
And we just kind of kept going on with our lives, kept going to grocery stores. We'll kind of cover a bit. Like, and I'm walking around a mall yesterday, and I got a mask on because I'm not feeling well. So I'm protecting everybody from me, right? Like I don't have COVID. I test all the time. I tested yesterday twice. So yeah, let's go to the mall. We go to the mall. I'm wearing a mask, and I'm watching people walk around with no mask, coughing their dicks off. Like, oh, we're back to that, are we?
Yeah.
Like, you know, but there's this trepidation, there's this paranoia there because of the last couple of years that we've been through, where you're like, I really don't want to get sick. I don't want to take that chance of getting sick and stuff. And then you revert back to your reasonable brain, and you're like, I got 48 vaccines in me. I'm sure I'm going to be fucking okay. But then you hear your stories, and you're like, she can't breathe. He can't breathe. Fuck, what if I get, you know, and it's like this mind game. It's ping pong back and forth as to, you know, and you don't want to be one of those guys that's always talking about masks and vaccine mandates on Twitter, and you don't want to be jamming it down someone's throat. But it really, like, just going out and doing stuff requires so much more effort than it ever has. And just managing a life that we used to take for granted. When people would come home, we'd get sick, they'd get sick. You're like, no big deal. I got a cough. Right? Like I'm not a doctor guy. I don't go to the doctor unless something's hanging off of me. Or like there's a major issue. And so like I'm not one of those statistics that sits in an emergency room and goes, yeah, well, I got something and I want to figure it out just to make sure I'm not dying. I'm not that guy. But the paranoia, and I've never been that guy. I'm like aches, pains, whatever. If it goes away, it goes away. That means you're not sick. I'm just that. I got my first physical this year in 5 years. I could care less about that shit, and I should. But it's amazing the mind games it's still playing with all of us, is it not? Like it's especially for people like you two who are going through it.
We've gone from this. We've gone from pre-COVID. It was like, and everyone's like, yeah, you're right. You're right. You got a little cough. Yeah. To during COVID, and everyone going,
yeah.
To post-COVID, sort of like, and everyone's kind of like a little bit,
whatever,
a little bit of a lean, and then now you've got this, which I just heard the other day.
Whoa, that's alcohol.
Someone was having a baby. Were you
And you're
present
like,
for a
Are
birth?
you okay? Are you okay? There, it's like that scene from Seinfeld when he's like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
Oh
It's easy to
my
get people
God.
out of crowd, though, man. I was at the comic convention and I sneezed twice, and man, it was like the parting of the the nerds.
Anyways, that's the way it's going now. We're I don't.
So Jen, when you performed, your set list was how long before COVID?
My set list, well, it depended what kind of show it was. It ranged, like, if it were just like, if I were just like opening for a band or something, probably 45 minutes. But I would also play like pub gigs and do like 3 sets, like 3 45-minute sets, which like
that's crazy.
Yeah, and I could do
you're
that,
like
but now
you're like the Iron musician though to do that, because I remember Brent and I used to discuss stuff like that. Like you'd go places and you'd see the person that I'm in a cover band and I'm going to play like We Will Rock You and all these other, and then there's the person that goes up there with their acoustic guitar and just rips out songs like set, and that's tough to do because I was always the guy that went out for half an hour. I went out there half an hour and I just laid it on the stage and that was it. But to do it that long, so how long can you play for now?
I haven't tried doing 3 45-minute sets. That's for sure. I don't.
No, I guess not. Yeah. Well, I've seen you play drums, and it's more the vocal thing, right?
Yeah, it's more. Yeah, I've actually been playing more drums than anything lately. But I could maybe do a 45-minute set right now, maybe on a good day. I don't think I could do like a 3-set pub gig.
No.
Good thing, because we're starting a 45-minute club sets on the Blundell Network. And Jen, you're the first. You're the first.
And you're up.
You're up.
Oh shit!
Yeah. What time is it right now? It's 6:37.
Can I just play drums?
It's a new Monday night feature that we've got coming out of the Blundell show.
Yeah, you can. You can play drums. You're uber talented. How many instruments do you play?
Not many, actually. Like 2, 3, including vocals. Like drums, guitar, vocals.
Those are the important ones, though, right?
You dabble on the old
piano. No, but if you
piano.
can play guitar, you can play bass.
No piano. Yeah, a little bit of bass. No,
You
no,
play
I
cello?
never played the piano.
You slap the
What's
bass,
that?
Jen? You slap the bass?
I don't really. The slapping thing's kind of hard.
Yeah. Slap
Yeah,
the bass.
I just do
slap the
the-
bass.
The walking.
What about the cello? Did I see a picture of you with a cello in there somewhere?
Yeah. You working a violin?
Maybe.
How are you with
You see?
how are you with wind instruments? Are you good with wind instruments?
No.
No.
I
Not
used to
right
work
now.
at Long and McQuaid, and I like tried all that stuff out. And
Didn't
I was
we
like,
all?
I'm just gonna stick to guitar.
Look at these hot glamour shots. You look like very.
You got those down at the Oshawa
Yeah.
Center.
That's an old one
glamour
right there.
shots.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
Oshawa
I would not
Center.
fuck with Jen at all after looking at those pictures.
I know, right?
Fuck yeah.
I know.
Yeah, incredible artwork.
This,
Who did your
especially this
artwork?
one. This one here is like
That's contemplative. I'm thinking of going over there and kicking that guy's ass. Actually, this one is like this is your cover from Darkness to Light. You know what this says? This says, "Don't talk to me at all, or I might
pretty
fucking
much.
kill you."
Yeah, this guy actually does all the stuff for Lagwagon now, which is kind of cool.
there we go.
Lagwagon, he
Punk rock.
does no effects stuff too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mike Smith wanted to point out that we used to cough to hide our farts, and now we fart to hide our coughs. So there we
Is
go.
that Mike Smith? Mike Smith from the Oshawa area from Summer Hero?
Probably. I'm guessing.
No,
Maybe Mike.
is it
Is
really?
that you? Mike, is that you?
Is that
This is
Mike
an
Smith from
Oshawa
Summer
scene, 'cause-
Hero?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Diener, you
Where
guys
are
That'd
we?
be pretty
Yeah.
rad. So if we did some shows together, we had some. Those were fun.
Back
Some
in the
dungeons.
80s, you got to do that.
Back in the 80s.
we did
Early
a couple of
2000s
shows
long
together.
time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, Jen. So your career is at least getting back on track. You're able to do some shows, which we like. But yeah, sorry about the long COVID thing. That's tough. At least you're able to do 30-minute sets and stuff. But is that going to affect your ability to make money on the music side of it? Do you actually get paid more for your longer sets and go into hey, here's
Well,
300, 400, 500 bucks? Yeah.
There's a big. The funny thing is, Brent, is she's from, and you guys have that in common. Because you used to live in Janeville area there. Yeah.
Hey,
which
that's
is hilarious.
actually that's where Machete technically started. Was that first band practice in my garage in Janeville. When you guys
Now check this out. Now,
Dean, you'd love
music
this.
school- Sorry.
Yeah. No,
Go
Dean
ahead.
would love this because him and our bass player were supposed to show up at 11 a.m. and I didn't know Chris at that point. So 11 a.m. meant 9 p.m. That was the first band practice. It was like, oh
I
yeah,
didn't show up at the
11.
time I was young. So my other point was that in that area, I had the big music school teaching. Jen, any ideas on what we might do next?
Yeah, I might start teaching.
Yay! There you go.
Thanks for
And there's
bringing it up. Yeah.
there's a huge hole there since I left from like an actual musician teaching lessons, and that is so key.
Yeah,
You've thought about that, right, Jen? Tell us about that.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna start advertising them soon. I'm probably gonna start just teaching kids how to play guitar. Maybe segue into drums at some point, and hopefully I can get them to come here because we got our little jam room here, and I know how to write songs and record and stuff too. So
you can jam with them, right?
That might be my next endeavor.
Jamming with them, reading music. You know what I mean? When parents, it's like, well, we don't really care, man. If they could just pick up, the guitar and jam with their dad, or if they could sit behind and jam with, mom there playing her classic, Joni Mitchell, whatever moms play these days.
Yeah.
It's such a good spot for somebody like you to do that. There's so many teachers to teach, but as soon as you put another musician in the room, they're like, yeah, are you going to play this? And it's like, no, just jam.
Yeah, pretty much.
Diener, did you ever learn an instrument?
No.
No.
I can play the drums poorly.
You
can play the drums poorly. Yeah. Like I got the timing and stuff like that. Like I can do the but if you said, "Hey, let's play along to a song," I'd be like, not this guy. And I used to tell girls that I could play the guitar, but I never could. And then I used to have a guitar handy all the time when I'd be hanging out with girls, and I'd be like, "Could you play that?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, but I don't really feel like it right now."
You're drunk right now.
Yeah, it's pretty wasted. I can't really do it. No, I never did.
But it's there. You could see it. It's there.
But I'll tell you what. Yeah. Just my fingers hurt. I'll tell you what. There may be nothing cooler than someone that can play musical instruments. To me, it's incredible. Like I work with a guy named Lachlan Cross. Lachlan is a world-class harmonica player, and it blows my mind. He's like one of those dudes that just like picked up a harmonica on a bus and started playing it, and he was really good at it. Did you do that, Jen? Were you one of those savant people that was like, you just picked up guitar, started fooling around, and boom, you figured it out? Or did you have to take lessons like everybody else?
I was kind of like that. I was more so like that with like writing lyrics and vocal melodies. That was like the first thing that came to me. And then I started learning guitar, and I'd say I picked it up pretty quickly. It was kind of like innate.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. Is it innate when you know how to play an instrument as well as someone like you guys know how to play your instruments? Like I listened to Chris kind of dick around. He was doing guitar lessons online during the heat of the pandemic, and I'm like, you don't just like. That's not all theory. No one just teaches you that. That's just in you, right? Like it's just in you, and you love it. You love making the noise and the sounds and stuff. But like your shit works in ways that mine will never work ever. I'll never be able to learn a musical instrument. No matter how hard I try, I will always be shit at it. So when I look at people like you, I'm like, fucking sucks that they're savants.
Yeah, I think it's like an energy thing or like emotional thing. I don't know. I don't know what makes someone.
I feel like it chooses
natural.
You, Dean.
Yeah.
It's a calling. Like when I was a kid, man, I can remember. This is so funny because I've had this question asked, and it's like I can remember being like 6 years old. I asked my mom about it again, and going through the malls, with my mom, and every time there was Kiss, right? Because late 70s, and Mom, I want that. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know it was music. I didn't know what book, a poster, but I wanted that. I wanted Kiss. Yeah. And then I thought it said Kill. I thought 5-year-old Chris thought it said Kill. And that was cool to me. Woo! Spider-Man, these guys are great. And it was like, it called me. Kiss called me. And then I got the albums, now pulling out the artwork. And wow, I remember just listening to records, setting them up and, getting the light bright, putting Kiss on there and airband into it. And get the baby powder out, throw it in the air. Like,
Dean, ask him how he feels about them now. Ask him how he feels about Gene Simmons now.
How do you feel about Gene Simmons now?
That's very negative. No.
Not important.
Yeah, let's not go down that road because
I just think it's really funny that you said music picked you and you picked Kiss, who can't play instruments really very well at all. I think that's
Ace
awesome.
Frehley, man.
They got the masks though.
But
yeah, they
when
do
they
in the
started,
sweet shoes.
when they started, man, they were great. When they all bought into it, there's live footage of them playing where their makeup is like sweated off, and they're just like doing like these 3-minute harmony guitar solos. Peter Criss is doing a 5-minute drum solo. Like it's really cool. You don't, and then they got famous, right? Like that happens to a lot of musicians, unfortunately. But I would say 1975, 76 Kiss. Wow. If you did doubt Kiss, you have to watch them live in any of those scenarios, man, because holy unreal.
Everyone trying to make it, right? They go for it. They would say you have your whole life to make your first record, and then you've got about 3 months to make your second. And so it's kind of like you blow
They would
up
put
and
out
it
an album a
goes.
year too, right, Brent? Like it was like
Sure.
every year they would put an album out back then, which was really mysterious and cool. Now you know what, this is killing me, is that when I was a kid too, like, wow, did you hear that like Zeppelin sold their soul to like the devil so they could play this music? It was like, oh my God. Those Island Boys are now saying that they sold their soul to the devil to play whatever it is they play. This is their new ploy.
Which band is this?
You know those Island Boys? Jen, you know the Island Boys, right?
Island Boys. Just Island
Is that the
Boys.
band name?
No, you're not. Dean knows the Island Boys. That's it.
Just two fucking hood rat kids that like think they're rappers and they got dreads.
Oh,
and
they
they're
look
super
weird.
White.
They're fucking weird.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's
I
like,
know who you're
I'm a
talking
just island boy.
That's
I'm
it,
a
exactly.
Just island boy. I'm a
What
just
do they
island
do?
boy.
Nothing.
That's
What
it.
Dean's
That's what
doing.
they do. I'm just showing you that. I'm showing you what they do, Jen.
That's
That's
it?
all they do.
Yeah.
And they're
I'm a
famous.
just island boy.
Jen.
I'm a just, yeah.
They're showing up at clubs. People are throwing their money at them. They're paying them just to go to the clubs. And now they just started dying off. So now they're doing videos saying, "You see this tattoo? This is I made a deal with the devil just to get this fame." And of course, now people are jumping on board, going, "Well, wait a minute. These guys have no talent at all.
That's why they're dying off. They don't have any.
How the hell did they get all this?" And they're like, "Well, maybe it's true." So now,
right?
and it's brought them right back up to just like ching, 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 like, million views because of that.
Every generation needs a Milli Vanilli. Let's not forget.
The
It has to
TikTok
happen.
generation, right?
That's a TikTok generation.
That's hilarious, Dean, that you knew. I love that you knew what I was talking about.
I'm a just island boy. I'm a just island boy.
I always look for the clips where they're at a party and somebody takes a run at them, and it's like, "Yeah, get him!"
Oh yeah. Yeah, they were cool for like 2 months, and then they went to a UFC event, and one of them got punched in the face, and everybody's like, I guess they're pussies.
That's it for that. That's it for that.
Probably.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, I'll let you finish your music stuff. It was super nice to pop in. I took a whole bunch of NyQuil. I'm not even lying to you. I downed a whole bunch of NyQuil before you told me to get on the thing.
Sick?
In
Yeah,
chicken?
totally sick,
Oh, okay.
100%. Yeah.
I thought you just
No.
took a bunch of NyQuil.
No. You think I'm like it's a Brian Mulrooney cocktail? Is that
Did you cook it in chicken, Diener? Did you cook it in chicken?
No, we got our YouTube account suspended this week because we were talking about cooking with NyQuil and how people like cooking NyQuil chicken. And they're like, you can't give terrible medical information. We're like, we were laughing at it. And they're like, we don't care. We're going to say. Anyway, so that I got sick this week and I'm like, ooh, NyQuil without the chicken. I don't mind if I do.
So Chris gave Thor 1 Diener or half a Diener out of 5. I gave it 1 Diener out of 5 because I did like Christian Bale. How many Dieners out of 5 are you giving Thor?
Christian Bale, the God Slaughter or whatever.
The God Butcher, yeah.
How many Diener? How many?
I give it a 3.
Thor,
I give
Love
it
and
a
Thunder.
3. It was just if you erase all your expectations, it's a solid 3. And you're right, Natalie Portman didn't need to be in it, by the way.
No, when it started though, I was like with the Guardians. I was like, "Oh, this is amazing!" Because when Thor was with the Guardians, I loved it. I was like,
"Yeah,
this is awesome." And then I expected it after the Guardians left, and it didn't. I was a little disappointed in that too. But the humor with the Guardian, I was like, "Man, I loved it. I thought it was great."
Will that raise you up another half, Chris? Or are you still stuck on half?
No, because then I was like the first 15 minutes, and then I just had such a hard time watching. I had to watch it again, and that just, I don't know, man. I don't know.
All right. That's Dean Blundell. You can catch him every day on the Dean Blundell Network, deanblundell.com, all the YouTube places and all the other things.
Feel better.
You're leaving Twitter, and we can get into that. That's unfortunate, but you're leaving Twitter because, whatever.
It sucks. Well, it's not even suck. It's just a nothing. Dude, just keep this in mind. Everybody on Twitter, social media, guess what? Not real life.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's a window
every day.
on your phone. Bye, guys.
Must
Take care, brother.
listen to. Thanks for coming by, buddy. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
We had this thing last week, Jen, where we did the whole Thor Love and Thunder review. And we actually got some hate on it. We got some which is good. We like that. We want people to come on and talk about it. We want people to kind of give us
Well,
their
it's not
opinion.
as bad as I was mentioning to Jen. If we really wanted to get some attention, we talk wrestling and about Saudi Arabia. We got shut down. We like pissed on country, but it's wrestling, and we already discussed you don't know much about wrestling, so we won't go down the road.
Yeah, it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing.
Really did. Isn't that funny though? If we really did a ruckus on here, talk about Saudi Arabia and wrestling, destroy everything.
Well, I'm going there in January, so maybe I'll
like Saudi Arabia, like politics.
Sorry, ladies wrestling, Saudi Arabia. Sorry, I forget the whole deal. I forget that.
Okay.
Yes. It was a little bit of, it was a lot of that actually.
It started innocently.
Woo! Rating.
It started innocently enough as a
Lily.
Oh, the kitty!
Hey, Lily, look at that cat. It started innocently enough as like a discussion about progress.
Yeah, because ladies weren't allowed to wrestle
that country
before, right?
And then it turned into a whole thing about we don't need your opinion in the West.
It was a women's rights thing. Is exactly what it was.
It was a women's rights thing, but it was actually the women that came and said we don't need the West's opinion. We're perfectly fine.
Yeah.
We can fly on planes now. That was the quote.
Yeah,
so we don't need the West's opinion, or we don't need
exactly, Jen. That was it.
West.
They just said West.
Just the West.
They just said West.
And we actually didn't give an opinion. I like to point it for the record, and we're not going to get into it too much, but we didn't give an opinion. We just stated a fact. And
we were just stating that was the first time women could run a match in wrestling there. That was all we stated, and wow, went off the
almost 1 million views, but it was trending towards 1 million. We had to, anyways, we'll get into that off the air. I am going to Saudi Arabia in a couple of months, so we'll see how
Well, I'm sure you wear some wrestling shirts.
Yeah, we'll see.
So, Jen, what do you got planned for your music career? So, Jen's you want to start teaching now. When you talk about teaching, taking like a couple private students. Hi, Brent. Are you just taking in a couple private students, or like the Jen's School of Rock?
That'd be cool to turn it into that. I've never taught before, and I've been thinking about doing it for years. Now I have a good location for it, so I'm thinking about taking this on. Yeah, I just want to take on some kids in the area and just go from there. I think part of the reason I've hesitated a little bit is because I don't have like a ton of theory. Like knowledge,
you don't need that.
Theory.
No, but you know what? Me
and
neither.
That's what everyone tells me. Yeah, I have
jamming.
I have all the stuff that's been useful to me. Yep. I've like retained.
Parents dig that now too, and you'll get a lot of kids, Jen, that their parents will be like, "Wow, please don't teach them theory." They will. They'll be like,
"That's what my friend was saying." He was like, "No one wants to learn theory. Don't even like throw that at them."
Oh, wait till they're good, or like say they they're learning the 4 chords that are in every Taylor Swift song, right? They can do that, and now they're like, I'm really bored with that, and then you suggest a scale, and next thing you know, they're like, huh, and and then the knowledge is seeking in, and next thing you know, you kind of are teaching them theory, but they don't really know it. They're just bored with playing the C to the G to the E.
Yeah.
Let me ask you about this then, because I've been trying to learn for years. Chris can attest to this, and I went on his stuff, and I
learned guitar. You're a fantastic drummer.
Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome.
But then what happened was what do you tell the kids to really get them there? How do you attach something that'll make them learn? Because for me, when I first went into Long McQuaid, it was called Alto Music at the time. Yo, Oshawa. Back when I was 8 or 9 years old, they handed me an acoustic guitar. And my quote literally was, Eddie Van Halen doesn't play an acoustic guitar. I wanted an electric guitar. It's very interesting to me because they were like, the music guys were like, well, you got to learn on acoustic before you learn on electric. And I am so curious if they would have given me the electric, if I would have actually went through and learned guitar. So how do you connect the two? And what's your take on that of you need an acoustic to learn guitar versus connecting the dots and making somebody be passionate about it? Because I've had a struggle learning guitar, and I can't wrap my head around it, even though I desperately want to. I just can't get there fully the way I want to. So how do you teach? How do you teach that? And that's for you teachers. If you're teaching somebody,
I think they're different instruments. I think if someone wants to learn on electric, then teach them on electric.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I find too the electrics are a lot of the electrics and necks are thinner, right? They make the juniors. They do make some smaller acoustic. Do you just find the thickness of it when they're playing is a little tricky? But the one thing that I find, Brent, most of all, is you get that electric in their hands, you plug them in, you put a little bit of distortion on there, and they're like, wow, wow. Show them the pick slide, show them the whole thing from Black Sabbath. These are the dudes, right? Like the dudes who come in and want to learn heavy metal. A lot of the girls that I've taught are more into the, just again, as I mentioned, I want to play this Taylor Swift song. Okay, well you have to learn the E minor chord, the A chord and the D chord, and then we're flying, and they can't believe it. And then you change up the songs, and they're just like, wow, it's the same chords. Yes, it is. Like AC/DC, but without distortion.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, and AC/DC is the same way. Drums, man, you teach somebody with this beat on the drums, the kick snare, they can play every AC/DC song. So same with the chords. So I find that you can make the electric a lot more fun for kids who are more into noodly, like, better keep my attention in here. And I find that if they're more into, I want to learn how to play a song, then they, especially a thing that's not metal or punk, they may want to try the acoustic. But then again, you can always, I have some kids still that come in with their electric, and they don't want to plug it in sometimes because they're not confident with the songs they're playing. Right, so you can't hear me if it's not plugged in.
Jen,
you can hear more clearly, right?
Yeah.
Question for you on the YouTube thing, because you can still pull off the YouTube channel, right? You can still, at least do a 5-minute song and still put your clips up. So that's something that's not going to go away, correct? You're still gonna be able to do that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You still got your voice. You're just getting winded after long sets, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's funny. Like I remember like being on tour and stuff years ago, and being like playing shows to like sometimes not that many people, and I would be like, I get more fans from YouTube. I should just like kind of focus on YouTube for a little while.
Dare I say this, and I hate to say it, but are you on the TikTok?
No, I have it. Like I signed up for it. I have a TikTok account. I'm struggling with it a little because it's like a very different platform.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it off air because it's the fastest.
You'd probably do really well on there.
I think you blow up on it.
Killing it on there. The funny, my comic book is there too, right? Which is funny. I never thought much of it, but my artwork in my comic book, I sell like 60% of it on there, which is funny, right?
Wow.
And then
through TikTok.
Just through the
I lead them
through the leak.
Right.
So I'll put up like a little commercial, a little funny video of me drawing a comic, my artwork, and hey, you can buy this kind of thing, And next thing you know, it's like, and I'll put the link there. And next thing you know, it's like, hey, you got 2 new followers. You sold this, and yeah, it's cool. TikTok, because TikTok's really a lot of fun. I don't know. I kind of hacked down my social media, but I go on TikTok. It's always funny stuff or comic book stuff or some musician playing something where you're just like I was watching Wolfgang Van Halen.
Amazing.
To Hot for Teacher.
I was going to ask,
but it was it was somebody's stage that I hadn't seen. It was just like, and the best though was Dave Grohl's face. Dave Grohl's face watching him play it was just mint, man. It was just so
Did you guys watch? I was going to ask you this because I'm going to do a show on this. Did you guys have a chance to actually watch either one of the Taylor Hawkins tributes?
No.
So I was working. I had a show in Dallas, and it was playing on YouTube. They showed the Wembley one, and the whole thing was great. I mean, and ironically, the other thing too, Spaces on Twitter. I did a Spaces right after that. I did a Spaces on Twitter with a radio DJ out here, a friend of mine that is a big Van Halen fan, and we were talking Spaces on Twitter about that tribute show, and we had 5,000 people listen to it by the time it did its cycle. And it's just crazy. But that tribute to them, when Wolfie came out, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with what's been going on with Wolfgang, but as he came out as a solo artist, people are like, play Van Halen. And he's like, no.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, just because you want me to. He goes, no, leave me alone. And I really felt that Wembley show was him basically telling everyone, all right, here you go. Fuck you. Watch this. And not only did he play it, not only did he have the tone, but everyone that I've talked to about it has the same thing. Chris, you might say the same thing. He plays like Eddie Van Halen. No one else plays like Eddie Van Halen. Just
that's
Wolfman.
whenever I come in and they're I remember this in Port Perry, man. Well, he doesn't sound Leonard Skinner song. Well, he's not the guitar player from Leonard Skinner. He's a 10-year-old gal. And even my adults go, man, I don't really sound like Eddie Van Halen. Dude, you're never going to be Eddie Van Halen. I wish I could sound like Eddie Van Halen.
You're not Eddie Van Halen. Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? It's like, well, it's like, dude, you're not that guy. Like, trying to accommodate. Like, you work, that's fine. Don't try and be.
Yeah.
But
that's part of being an artist is like having that unique sound, right?
And his playing, it was like he came out with they did, and Wembley did it. I'm on Fire and Hot for Teacher with Josh Freese on drums and Dave Grohl, and I'm just like, what is going on? It was the greatest thing Van Halen performance I've seen ever. And like I'm just saying, like since that thing, and then they did it in LA the other night, and he did Panama and Hot for Teacher, and it was just like the feel though, and that's what I'm saying to you guys is like as you're teaching guitar, the feel that he had. Everyone's like, it is the second coming of Eddie. And the great thing is that he basically told everyone, fuck you. And he just proved to everyone that he can do it whenever he wants, but listen to my solo band instead, which is great, by the way. Yeah. So
cool.
Anyways, that's what's going on.
So Jen, what was the first thing, right? Personal.
I think musicians have a vibration. I think we have a vibration that like some people don't understand, right?
They don't.
It's like people saying, it's like, man, it's just the vibe, vibration. If you tell them vibration, they look at you weird. But if you say it's just the vibe, it's cool. But Jen, what was the first music? What was the first music thing that grabbed you? Like I mentioned, it was Kiss, and I didn't even know it was music. Like, and then when I heard it, oh my gosh, like I was sold, just so sold. What was the first music that grabbed you?
I think it was Avril Lavigne.
Cool. Oh, that's wild. That's wild.
When I was like, I think 12 or 13, like, yeah, she just had this sound that was like, she had that acoustic guitar. She had that punk vibe to her.
Confident.
And just like, confidence and like, dude. I don't know, just, yeah. And it's cool because she was backed up by the guys from Closet Monsters. So she like, that's a punk band, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. We played so many shows.
That got me into like
those guys.
Yeah. That's a name. That's a long time ago.
Yeah, that got me into like all the punk stuff. Like I kind of got into Good Charlotte, and then I was like, Good Charlotte got me into like Social D and Minor Threat, and then it was like.
Have you had any interactions with these? Have you had any interactions with these people since you've put their songs up acoustically? Like, have you had any artists reach out to you and say that was great job?
Yeah, several actually. Yeah.
Awesome.
The biggest one was Propagandhi. They like
nice.
They had me like open for them on one of their shows, and then they had me sing a song with them one time when they were in Toronto, and Operation Ivy like shared one of my videos, and there's been quite a few bands. Strike Anywhere has done it a lot, but yeah, it's pretty cool.
And you're available to teach guitar lessons in a very small area in Port Perry.
Yeah,
right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks,
there
man.
you go. There you go. Again, I've taught like life maybe, and I give the people out there the thumbs up that this Jen will take care of you guitar wise for the kids for sure, definitely. Well, you got
Jen,
that. You have the vibe. You
on?
got the speak. You know what you're. And the fact that the stuff that you're talking about right now makes you relevant. Makes you, to me, more teach these kids. You've played to two people. You played to two, like you know what I mean, like, and that to me is. Yeah. Musician. There's nights I played to miles than I have to people, and there's nights where it's been a stadium, and the kids come in, man, and you tell little stories about that, and next thing you know, they're just hanging off your every word, and it's positive, and we need more of that, Jen. And Beans is like, I'm going. So, but and I know you're a person, especially when it comes to music. So, yeah, I'm behind you 100% on this. I totally recommend you for guitar lessons.
Thank you.
Music lessons, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so, what are you doing next with music? Like for yourself, though, what are you doing? Do you have any plans, or you just want to chill now? Because I get, we've discussed this too. I get anxiety. And not if it's really, but I get so much anxiety because you came down and saw me play this show I did, and I was like literally freaking out inside. It was really uncomfortable for me. I get terrible anxiety. I would love, and the sad thing is that nowadays I probably could put a band together and play some really great shows and tour, but I can't. So what are you planning to do music wise, performing wise? There is a lot of people, you have a lot of fans here. So I think their biggest question would probably be, Jen, what are you doing now? We know you want to teach, which is awesome. I'm behind you 100%. What music wise, your fans, I think, here want to know what you're.
Honestly, my next thing would, I've been wanting to record just like an acoustic EP. So I have some songs that I've never recorded. So I want to do those probably just acoustically, and then do like maybe a couple songs off my album Survive acoustically, and then do like a cover. And I'm thinking about getting some cello, maybe some bass in there, and releasing that. I don't have any plans to tour right now.
Are you gonna tour and support that, or are you just gonna release it as music and videos?
I'm not sure. Like, I think I would release it and then kind of see where it goes. I don't know if I would like tour around the release, really.
Right.
Just honestly, like touring's tricky sometimes in terms of in terms of like money and I don't know. You're right. Like the anxiety thing is another thing for me as well.
Right.
There was always a lot of stress and anxiety surrounding touring and performing for me. So that's another thing that sometimes deters me. Like I know a lot of musicians who just like, they cannot go without performing. Like they crave it almost. I'm not that kind of musician. Like I'm more the kind of musician that likes playing music by myself in a room and recording and then kind of releasing it to people. So I'm not sure.
You know what? No, that's cool. I totally get. You know what it is? It's you're at the point where you're just doing it for yourself now, and you're probably releasing the best music of your life.
Yeah.
Like high five, like serious. Because I got the same when I got a Chuck Caliber, man. I was just like, wow, now I'm just gonna sit down and write music for me. I don't even give a shit anymore. And it was fun. But a heads up, I got so comfortable that I never wanted to leave again. It's a deja vu of exactly what I thought. Right? It was like I love touring and I love playing.
Yeah.
When it's the perfect scenario, you know what I mean? Like, because you think back to those shows where you showed up, your friends were there, and everything was perfect. And then there's those shows where you had to drive 1,000,000 miles, and the weather sucked. You weren't feeling well. They didn't pay you properly. You drank too much. Yeah, you know what I mean?
I think it's a little bit of a cycle. Like it's almost like I'm getting back to where I was before I started doing any of that stuff. And so it's like, okay, like, because you go through all of that and you realize how shitty the music industry actually is. And then you kind of like revert back to where you were. And it's like, no, I just want to get back to writing and being by myself with my guitar. And then I almost feel like there is this part of me, though, that's kind of coming out again where it's like, oh, okay, maybe I want to like bring this back in front of a crowd.
The funny thing is, Jen, is that before COVID
on music,
before COVID though, it was like it was about the live thing and all the rest of it. And then when all the bands started doing at home concerts and all the rest of it, people were like, okay, sure, that's great. It's not quite the same, but then now people are back playing live, and you know what I think people would like again? At home concerts. I think in this situation you could do great. Like I'm just saying, like it's because people aren't going out, or they're going out. Sorry, let me back up. They are going to tons of shows. I think people are kind of like so inundated with shows that they're actually like, oh shit, I can sit at home and watch Jen on a Friday night for $5.
Yeah.
I'm sure Seth Cooper would enjoy that.
I think you should probably keep going, Jen.
Look at this from Seth.
Can you see that?
Saved your life, Seth. Wow.
That's a bold statement, and I would say that you probably should whine and tell Seth you're going to keep going.
Yeah, I'll keep going. Whether it's online or out in the world, I'm not going to stop playing music.
Well, cheers, Seth. Thanks for being personal with us. That's really cool.
Yeah,
right
cheers.
on.
Very
Right
happy
on.
that you're still with us, Seth, and you know, and we're glad. Music heals, man. I'm a massive
man.
proponent of music. Music heals. It's gotten me through everything. So yeah, good job, Seth, on doing that. And Jen, you know, good job on inspiring someone and saving their life. So I mean, that's what
Doing
music
what
does.
you do, man.
Music
Yeah,
heals.
isn't that awesome
So-
when that happens though? You don't hear that very often. You know what I mean? You really don't. That's pretty rad. I think I've heard the opposite with people. Man, I went to your show and I almost died. Thanks, motherfucker. You know what I mean? I've
well, that's
never
because
heard,
our bass player used to throw a machete into the crowd.
yeah, he was
Chris.
pretty violent. Yeah, and also
was that a thing? Was that actually?
What's that? Yeah, we used to have a machete when we first started, and our bass player would have this stuffed straw thing dressed like a police officer, and he would stab the crap out of it at the end.
Okay. Yeah.
And we
Well,
played
we needed a-
parties.
you know,
That's dangerous.
We needed a part in the set where it was like, okay, we got.
I
6
drank a
songs.
lot.
We got 6 songs. What can we do here? Let's do a drum
bring a
solo,
machete
guitar solo thing, and then we'll trash a thing. Anyways, but whatever it is, it's
We got really popular though, Jen. We got to get this band at our party. Like it was like, and bars were afraid to bring us in. It was like we got this like level of like, you know, woo, watch out for these guys. And then we'd show up, and I'm like, you know, I'm this tall, and Brent's like the most straight edge guy you'd ever meet, and Dent's just silent. It's like, these guys aren't scary. They're actually, look at all the compliments you're getting. Jen, wait, I'm sorry. Did you see that one there too? Your music is really incredible. Never been a better cover of
Jules.
Angel Wings, man. Look at the love you're getting.
Thank you.
Huh?
That was so nice. Yeah.
All
That's
the
awesome.
way
That's
to
great.
Janetville.
Yeah, I just promoted this like a couple hours ago too, so that's.
Well, it'll be on
I love how
replay
people
too.
showed
It's
up.
going to be on Twitter. It's going to
we
be on
replay
everything
these.
for like
These
a
replay
week,
on
so-
Twitter, on the network, on
Awesome.
everything. This is
I'm
just
sure,
like,
yeah, people will listen.
this is the tip of the iceberg of people watching this. But thanks for tuning in live. Like, that's amazing, everyone. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And your cats are cruising around like mine are.
Jen, hopefully you'll come back and see us.
Oh, is Lily in here?
She was. I saw her on.
Oh, there she
I don't know if
is.
it was a
I see
reflection or what, but yeah. So next time, maybe we can get you to perform on here next time if you're cool with it. It's totally up to you. If you have some perform, let us know. We will always have you come back for the music moment.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. I got lots of guitars.
I'm so
here.
glad you. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Where
thanks
can
for
everybody
having me.
find you online, friend? Where can they find you online?
Honestly, just type my name into Google, Jenn Fiorentino. YouTube is my main outlet, and then I'm the other one that I mostly use is Instagram. So yeah, YouTube and
You
Instagram,
might be on,
and I'm on Facebook.
You might be on TikTok soon, right? Soon.
I might, yeah. I think I'm trying to figure
After
it
tonight,
out,
after we get off the air, we're going to talk
After
to her a little
tonight.
bit.
You
She'll
should
be on
really, yeah.
TikTok
TikTok's
very
rad,
soon.
dude. I love the Olympia cover. Wow, your music is really. You just keep getting the compliments here, Jen.
Thank you, everyone.
Dude, good for you. I think this is awesome. I don't want to stop because I just want to keep here. This is great. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. As I say, when we, you deserve people like you deserve that. When I met you at the show, could have hung out more. I was having like nervous breakdowns left and right, and
oh yeah,
you're a morning, I'm a
can
night
relate.
person,
It's
right? It was just like we just
yeah.
But so I'm in that room though. Amazing drywall job.
Oh yeah, it was really nice.
It's not a warehouse.
Me and James
So
are just laying in the bed.
Oh, I know.
Oh.
So next time you and James come over, if you see some those knives in the side, don't think anything of it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Just if you're feeling it.
Actually, I'd rather have you guys help half pipe in the backyard. Did you help James build that?
No, actually, we had that built.
Oh,
James just did the foundation thing, and then we had a professional guy build it, and it's like amazing.
And how is your skateboarding career coming along?
Slowly. I'm still kind of afraid to do a whole lot, but I go back and forth, I go around and stuff, and it's I'm getting there.
Well, as long as you're having fun.
Yeah,
and
I'm working
apparently
on a rock
Rochester
right now.
Rochester, New York too. You just keep getting the love here, Jen.
Okay. That's not far. Okay, cool. I might be able to swing that.
Holy smokes.
It's not Mike from Summer Hero, but it's Rochester, New York.
Okay, so
Jen,
sorry.
I'd
So
like
the
to also
skateboarding is coming along.
I'd also.
It is. So yeah, I'm working on a rock to fakie.
Nice. I can't skateboard
If
to save
anyone
my
knows
life.
what that is.
I don't.
I can
You're a
BMX,
BMXer
but I
though.
can't
You're a
skateboard.
BMXer. I'd like to compliment the fine internet of Janetville as well, because you're coming in great tonight, which is awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it's
Well, you
it's
beat
been good.
Dean. Holy crap!
Really good reception.
Come back anytime, Jen.
I will.
Jen.
And everyone, thanks for joining us today on that. Jen, we'll put you up for 1 minute, and then we're going to talk TikTok when we get off the air here. Stand by. Everyone say bye to Jen. Jen, thank you so much for coming by. Find her
Thank you for
online
having
everywhere,
me.
YouTube especially. YouTube for all the clips and everywhere you're going to go. Hopefully your health is feeling better. And
You as well.
If anything, I can add to the mix, which is the humidity. The humidity is what does me in. So
yeah,
maybe
when in Canada, right?
Last one to go. I listen to anxiety on the days when I
Still getting
somehow.
more
I listen to anxiety on the days when I somehow forget to breathe, when the light stretches thin, and I need an extra dose of hope.
I think
Seth, you should write
like
music. You should write some songs, Seth.
this
That's
is
some
some
good poetry.
of the
Right there.
this is some of the most we've had for a guest on our show, Jen. Congratulations, well done.
Right.
And we've shut down a country.
That's right.
Yes, you have.
Or they
So
tried to
you're
shut us
doing-
down, or
Cool.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks
Jen. Everyone.
We'll talk to you in a bit.
Okay.
Yes.
Cheers, Jen.
Talk to you soon, guys. Okay, have a good night.
Yep.
That's our friend Jen.
Nice.
What are you calling me? Yes, that's our
I knew
friend
that
Jen.
was going to be
all
fun.
the best to
I
her.
could've
Oh,
blend
she
in.
left.
Pardon?
She left. I was going to tell her to come back.
Oh no, we can just.
She left.
I knew she was going to
Yeah,
blend in with us like so friggin' well, man.
Yeah, I mean that's good. And talent wins. I've always said talent wins. When it comes to that, and you said like the non-guitar side of it. I just she gets it. She writes her own stuff. She's out there performing. And
It's just the
sadly, having
covers
to go
people
through all
wanna hear.
the shit,
Yeah.
all the covers and stuff. Yeah, but
the thing that
Jen,
the
thanks so
one-
much for
Yeah, sorry. The one thing as a
ahead.
musician that I've always that kind of struck me by Jen, and I said this about Rhodey from Protest the Hero, is that he had it, and Jen has it. That je ne sais quoi, that little. When I first saw her video of her, just that no effort thing, and I if you've seen me do my guitar videos, I noodled so much in my lifetime that I could play guitar, and have a conversation and cook dinner with my feet. But Jen has this whole thing. But when I sing and play, I'm like, I'm really focusing, right? Just noodling. I'm great. When Jen sings and plays, man, I don't know where the guitar starts and she ends. It's just like one person. It's amazing. She sounds great. It's flawless. She has it.
Well, and I'd like to point out, like 68,000 people on YouTube. You know how hard it is to build a YouTube channel? Well, especially two old guys like us, but holy shit, we've been trying for 3 years. You know what I mean?
As she mentioned too, she'll play some shows. There's a couple people there. She'll go to another show and there's tons of people there, and that's the life of YouTube. It's like, so
That's
as you
crazy.
pointed out, doing those recreational shows at home would probably be pretty rad.
I think she'd do great on that.
I think you and I should. Well, we should definitely stay in touch with Jen. If she's still watching, Jen, we got to get you back out for performance. But as I say, Brent, she has it.
She absolutely does.
Yep.
And she's got some. We've got some mutual friends, which I've discovered. So there'll be more conversations. down there.
Yeah. See, we never discussed that, right? We never discussed. Jen and I didn't really talk business when we hung out.
Yeah, of course. But I noticed that
really
she's
nice.
we've got some mutual friends.
But I like the way she doesn't throw it at you either, too,
No,
right?
it's great.
I know so many people in the music industry, as I keep doing the air quotes, and they're so like, I've done this and I'm doing this and I know that person and boom, this person. And yeah, Jen's really cool about it, man. I so respect that, because I think that's one of the things in the music industry that you get talking to somebody and first you're talking about, how their house is and taking care of their garden and their kids. And the next thing you know, they got this huge opinion on their tour and, all the people that they should be opening for and who they've met and how.
Well, the ones that are
refreshing.
doing it, don't need to talk about it.
Pardon me?
The ones that are doing it don't need to talk about it.
No, exactly,
people,
right? And
People
that's-
just know. People
Yeah.
just know. And they're, that's people's own anxiety. I get it. It's sort of like they're trying to justify what they're doing and why does this guy get this break and this person gets this break. You just got to go and
Well, you got to let all that go.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, we got to wrap. But what a great show. Thanks to Dean for coming on. Everybody catch him on deanblundell.com. Weekly show. What's that? You got a little asteroids from the Atari there. Look at that. We didn't get the She-Hulk. That for sure next week. We are going to get the She-Hulk next week. We're going to talk about that. Thanksgiving She-Hulk. Ice hockey. Nice. You got Yar's Revenge there?
Sure.
Okay.
Centipede. This is apparently the worst game that Atari ever made.
I was just going to say E.T. because you can't finish it.
I can.
Okay, you found a way.
I followed a YouTube video.
Okay. But the general public before the YouTube couldn't finish it.
There it is.
And there we are. Duck Hunt and Super
Mario Brothers Duck Hunt's one.
That's the one that changed our life, really.
Gold
honestly.
version of Zelda.
Alex is just finishing Zelda right now. The new one.
Yeah. Hey, Julie. Thanks, Julie. Tune in again,
huh? Anyways, friends, to everyone that joined us today and comments, Julie and everybody, thank you so much for joining and supporting Jen and everything that she's been through. You can follow
We're gonna have
Chris
Jen
Machete.
on every week now, so keep coming.
You can follow Chris
Jen's
Machete on Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. Follow him at the Etsy store, Machete Etsy store. Follow us on Twitter at Kids on the SCAL 1. Thank you very much. You can also join us for every single episode that you might have missed in the past at kidsontheescalator.com. Go there. There's some cool stuff there. Tons of cool episodes from the past few seasons. This is season number 3, so we're pretty stoked about that. And yeah, everybody, thanks so much for joining us. We'll be back next week. We are now Monday nights, 9 p.m.
We
on
are
the Dean Blundell Network.
So Mom and Dad, check it out. Hopefully
yeah,
they saw it. They
Dangerous
were over
Dorothy
here drinking heavily with me, Brent. My mom was into the wine and guzzling the
They're
beer.
Out. They're so out. They're past out.
I bet they're text when we're done. That was much better than last one, Chris. The last one was too heavy.
Too heavy?
Too heavy.
We didn't play any
The
Slayer
last
at
time.
all.
Remember we were talking about God and stuff, man.
Sure. Well, sometimes you got to mix it up.
That's
us for this week. Kids on the Escalator podcast. Good times.
Reds.
See you next week, everybody.
Cheers.